We'll give them like five, a couple more minutes. That's it. And then we're gonna get started
Well, how
because
was your day?
oh, me?
You? Yeah.
Absolute I'm absolutely marvelous. I had an incredible
Okay, I don't
day.
want to be all in
And
your
take
business, but what made it absolutely marvelous?
I'm breathing.
Yes.
That's what makes for a absolutely marvelous day. My capacity to breathe, which
I
means I
was
have
like,
the opportunity to do something positive with this day that I was given.
Mhm.
Like they say, my present. You know what I mean?
okay,
Right.
I can live with that.
Right.
It always starts. It always starts with waking up in the morning. At
You
least for
know it.
me.
You know it. Uh-oh, Dr. Sheena in the house. Well, I just saw her pop in.
Starts with waking
Hello,
up in the
Dr.
morning.
Sheena. How are
And
you?
then
You're on mute. I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm good. I made it. Yes.
Yeah, you made it today. Great, great. But you're gonna
Yeah.
get the I'm gonna send you the videos of the class yesterday. And
Sure.
actually I'm gonna send
Absolutely.
all y'all the bonus video for the one we did Wednesday. Because I think
Okay.
between those three video and this one, you'll get a great deal of information. And then I'm gonna follow up. I'm gonna send y'all some information to your emails so that you'll have it in written form as well. Because you all are my beta. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm putting together this course, and I said, well, let me start with some good people. And I know the course was valuable because we using it in different aspects of business. In fact, I got a special guest coming on a little later that's going to walk you through some case usages so that you can understand how to use different aspects of AI, ChatGPT in particular, and some other things. Okay, so here we go. Uh, Dr. Sheena, what's customary? And Belinda, are you there? I see you. I see you on here.
Yes, I am. Good evening, everyone.
All
good
right.
evening.
Good
So I'm gonna give
evening.
people a couple more minutes. So while we waiting for them, Dr. Sheena, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Oh, what world?
Choose the world you want to share with us.
Okay. Well, I'm a doula. I
Oh, I want to be
help
one.
babies come into the world. And I'm also a director of students at a school in Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a couple of hats. And I like what I do. I really do, especially with the babies.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, Miss Falamola, you gonna tell the people a little bit about you?
Yes, I'm gonna make sure they understand my last name since you didn't say it right
What I say?
all this time. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Belinda Falamola. Please forgive me. I'm not camera ready today. Today's my birthday, so I've been running around looking crazy. So please forgive me. So next time I will be on camera. But I've known Mr. Muhammad for over 20 some odd years. I have over 35 years with the federal government, and I've been acting, directing, and playwright for the last 25 years. So that's what I do. But who I am is that I love to uh, help people, particularly the homeless and the veterans. My passion is to uh, do for others. Being in services is who I am. So anyway, I'm going to enjoy this opportunity to learn something new and so that I can utilize that in the things that I find important to me and to others.
Wow. Okay. Maurice, I know you said a little something last night, but we got new people today, so talk to us.
Sure. Well, good evening. I have amended my name on screen to add sergeant for whoever that was last night that just wanted me to be sergeant. So short, very short, long story. My name is Maurice Licorice. I am a retired United States Air Force veteran. I'm also retired from after 24 years of working for Comcast. I'm attempting to write my third chapter by starting an organization called Military to Main Street, which will serve the active duty military non-commissioned officers who are looking to separate and then find a job in the private sector. My hope is to be able to help them by help facilitating a job search. Then once they find a position they're interested in, I want to help them write a successful resume. And then after writing a successful resume, I'd like to be able to coach them through the interviewing process. This class is important to me because I'm understanding that AI has a growing impact on the job search, not industry, but job search function.
Right.
Well, yes. So I'd like to learn more about AI so I can assist and help my target audience successfully get quality jobs in the future. So I hope I did a better job tonight than I did last night.
Fantastic. All right, Nisi.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Nisi. That's a nickname. My name is Janisa McKinney. But I have known Adiyb over 20 years, I think. And before that, I was a graduate of Duke Ellington School of the Art Dance Department. Since I've joined Adiyb's class in 2017, I've been in several plays, maybe 2. And I work as the mistress of ceremony in a haunted house here in Laurel, where I have a lot of fun. And I've learned a lot from Adiyb. This class is not just about acting. He teaches business of all sorts. I mean, this AI, he touched on it once before months ago, but these last 3 classes have been specifically for AI. And
Okay.
I'm enjoying it.
All right. Calvin, are you where you can speak, my brother?
I am. So how y'all doing, everybody? Good evening. It's cold outside. That's where I just came from again. So I am in I've been around the stage my whole life. I'm 43 now. Been around the stage my whole life, basically. Started off at the church doing Christmas and Easter plays, just helping out as a kid. And then eventually I was on stage helping out, and I was doing stuff. And then I went to Portsmouth Community College. I learned about theater there. And then I started doing theater and I was on stage and behind the stage. And then a guy took me from the theater that he was like, you're doing all right. Come over here. So I went to the Lincoln Theater. I worked at the Lincoln Theater for about 10 years. And then while I was there, I went to Listener Auditorium, which is on George Washington University's campus. So I was working there behind the stage. Met a lot of people, seen a lot of stuff. Now I just work in AV. I help everybody doing meetings, conferences, concerts, all that jazz. I do all that. My grandfather was retired Air Force a long time ago. And he did like 50 years. So he did some time in the Air Force, and then he went to the VA and was working in the VA and then combined it was all 50 years. So I say that because we have people here that are of the military, like the help military. I also, veteran. So I also have a thing for the military because I have a brother of mine that is he's been retired and he has some stuff happening with him in the VA. And so I know that there's a whole lot of stuff that needs to happen for the veterans. So they're kind of forgotten about sometimes. And so right now I'm ready to get back on stage because I've been outside on the mall in the snow with the March for Life. That's what I was doing. So I basically was out there, helped set it up. Now I hope the March left the stage, they went to the Capitol. I don't know what they did, whatever. It was cold. I'm glad. Thank you. I'm glad to be here though. Because this class it's a whole lot of gems on the floor and I pick them up. So thank you.
All right. So everybody that's here got an opportunity to speak. So let me just give a brief for those of you who don't really know me. My name is Adiyb Muhammad. First of all, I am a Vietnam era veteran from the Army. Um, I am actually an author, an actor, a producer, a director, a best-selling, what I said, actor, singer, producer, director, best-selling author, and I am particularly sensitive to the needs of other people in so much as their ability to become the best version of themselves as defined by what it is they really want to do, right? The value that I bring from my perspective is I have um I'm somewhat of a, how can I say, a strategic thinker, and in being a strategist, right? I've learned a few, not that long ago, I'm gonna say some years back, that if you exercise accountability in your thinking, then you can pretty much achieve anything you choose to go after, as long as you have a model and you have a structure, a formula, a strategy, and the tools to get there. And a lot of times, our acquisition of skills is how we identify how to achieve various results in our life from a business standpoint, a life standpoint. And of course, I would say it like this: mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, all these things come together based on how we're thinking, which determines how we frame the world. How we frame the world to determine how we feel, and how we feel will actually determine the actions we take. And because of the nature of our thinking, then we had a capacity when we get those thoughts that don't serve us, and we are accountable for actually analyzing our own thoughts, because a lot of our thoughts really don't come all from within us. They come from outside programming input from other people who all the time may not have our particular interest in mind. So we have to be very discerning about what we're thinking, what we're doing, and do we have a reason for doing it and a purpose, which will give us a target to hit, which makes us more successful. And just getting to the point of thinking that way, that's why I try to instill in people by inspiring them, pointing out various things that they may not be aware of, or they may not be aware of it within the context that would best serve them. Right. So, from my perspective, that's what I call myself doing. So, what I call myself doing, I've been very fortunate, of which I'm grateful to have gone through life as a African American male in America in an urban environment, going through all the stuff that we as Black men go through, that being influenced by programming and a way of thinking that didn't serve me as a young man, and going through life and finding out alternatives which were better. The one thing I love about the military is the discipline that I acquired by being in the military, that has served me tremendously when I came to challenges that I was super uncertain about. But I knew if I exercised enough discipline, focus, and engage, then I would learn what I need to learn to make it serve me as opposed to not serve me. My latest book is a book called A Dialectical Journey: Overcoming the Traps of a Limited Life. And believe it or not, going through my PTS therapy for the last few years, I was doing a therapy they call cognitive CPT, cognitive processing therapy. And within cognitive processing therapy, you do a lot of writing. And you write about your past experiences, and those past experiences of what in a lot of instances lend to how we frame those experiences to who we are today in terms of certain decisions we make or don't make. So what how it was helpful for me was I began to reframe those things in my past that was inhibiting my present. I reframed it, and now I use it to propel myself forward, because the reframing, I use it as not a hindrance but a benefit, because I look at the lessons, the growth that happened during those negative, grieful, hard times that lend to me being the strong character that I am today. I hope that makes sense to you. All right. So I've been teaching this acting class for 12 years. But what has happened, because part of acting is the fact that you engage in a craft in which you engage in a process of learning how to audition, which means the most effective way that you audition is having a handle on understanding monologues, which have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And a monologue is just one part of dialogue within a context of a scene. So part of the craft is one learning the ability to develop a character outside of themselves who's not them, that they inform that character by their spirit, if you will, to give three-dimensional reality to a performance, so that as an observer, you see that character in a believable way. And it takes skills sometimes to do that in a believable but also interesting, entertaining way where the audience can suspend belief for a moment and get into the world that you in by resonating with the authenticity of the emotional appropriateness of your performance, right? So acting is also not only a craft, but as you know, they don't call it acting or show craft, they call it show business. So when I got deeper into the business of entertainment, the business of acting, the business of producing, etc., I found that in my teaching my students, it was much more important that they not only knew the craft, but they had an understanding of how to do business, because part of the business is marketing themselves and continually growing in the craft. But part of that growing in the craft is growing as it relates to understanding how to market themselves, how to position themselves, and have a thorough enough understanding of the business overall to have some sense of how they want to direct their trajectory. And they're much more effective then, because they taking the control out of the hands of people, where when they go to an audition, they don't come in with an attitude, please give me a job. They come in with an attitude, a level of confidence and swagger that says, hey, this is what your project would look like with me in it. That's a total different mindset and approach, right? So just like one in business, the nature of how technology has impacted this business overall throughout the verticals, throughout the industries, is one in which the more we understand about the technology that's impacting the industry, the better we are to prepare ourselves for whatever we choose to do within the industry. And that's applicable to not only in our industry of entertainment, edutainment, education, coaching, or whatever, but all aspects of what you do as a service to others. The value you bring to others, the number one thing that has to be there for you to be successful in the value that you bring to others, that others are aware of the value you bring. So in a lot of instances, for us to be successful in whatever business, we have to understand the rules of engagement, the rules of making ourselves findable, so that people who already are looking for what we have to offer can find us, so we have an opportunity to provide them with that value. Did any of what I said make sense? Okay, so here we are. As part of this overall wanting to help others understand what I've come to understand a little bit about, that's serving me quite well, is I decided that I was going to create an additional course giving people clarity on artificial intelligence. Since there's so much talk about it, and I come from, one of my hats is that I was a major accounts executive for internet company at the outset of the proliferation of internet being available to everybody in their residence and their businesses in 2000, 2001, 2002. So I went from internet connectivity to document management solutions. So I have a comfortability with pursuing understanding within the technological arena, because internet understanding, that's understanding technology. That's one aspect of it. Just like what we're going to talk about. I'm going to go off camera for a minute so y'all don't be distracted by me doing like this. I get excited, right? We're going to talk about artificial intelligence. Now, of course, we know and hear a lot about ChatGPT, for instance. We're going to get to that, but fundamentally, you kind of got to hopefully have an understanding of artificial intelligence, period, so that you can alleviate some of the anxiety associated with your pursuit in understanding ChatGPT and other AI software that allows computers to be a tool for you, because these AI applications are actually tools that you can use when you can decide specifically how the actual tool can assist you in your doing business. And not only can it increase your productivity, but you can actually monetize it and you can have fun with it, right? So let's go. Basic foundational understanding. Artificial intelligence. Now, some of the stuff you're going to hear, but I'm not going to elaborate as much as I did last night. I'm going to give you the foundation because you're going to have the videos. Okay, so artificial intelligence, by definition, is the ability of machines to replicate or enhance human intellect, such as reasoning and learning from experience. Artificial intelligence has been used in computer programs for years, but it is now applied to many other products and services. For example, some digital cameras can determine what objects are present in an image using artificial intelligence software. In addition, like I said yesterday, experts kind of predict many more innovative uses, as you see coming at you now from all these different people and all these different industries telling you that, hey, come learn this particular aspect of AI to increase your ability to produce whatever it is as a service, product, or information that you provide. Now, AI uses techniques from what you call probability theory, economics, and algorithm. Algorithm design is used as to be able to solve practical problems. So, since you're going to hear a lot tonight about algorithm, the word algorithm, let's talk about what an algorithm is at this juncture. An algorithm is a set of commands that must be followed for a computer to perform calculations or other problem-solving operations. According to its formal definition, an algorithm is a finite set of instructions that carry out in a specific order to perform a particular task. In other words, the algorithm is how the developers tell the computer what to do, what tasks it wants it to achieve, or what information it wants to retrieve and give them input or output on, right? Like a lot of times we hear the word algorithm as it relates to social media. Now, in social media, algorithms are the rules, signals, and data that govern the platform's operation. That's whether you're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, or whatever platform you're on. Those algorithms determine how the content is filtered, ranked, selected, and recommended to you as a user. In some ways, the algorithms influence your very choices and what you see on social media. So, what's really happening, to simplify what I just said, the AI is learning your way of engaging with a particular platform so that it hopefully will present, it makes a decision as to what data it's going to present to you. And usually that's in the form of a commercial or an ad based on your previous things you looked at and all of that. So sometimes it'll seem, and I'm sure we all have noticed this, is like you may go a particular place on a YouTube, or you might do a certain thing on Facebook, and then all of a sudden you get all these ads relative to something that it seems like you may have been thinking about because you did something associated with it. Same thing with Amazon. Amazon's algorithm on Amazon Prime is when you get that note that says, like, you buy something on Amazon, and then you get a note says other people who purchase this item purchase this, right? And that's based on how people may have purchased things, and then there's these other items that may be somehow associated with what you just bought, like a book or some kind of tool or some kind of toy, whatever. And then Amazon's algorithm will say, well, look, they did this before. This is what they done looked at over time. This is the kind of thing they buy. Let me put this in front of them. A human algorithm, to make it really simple, when we wash clothes, we separate our whites from the colors. That's a step-by-step process that we do over and over and over again when we wash clothes. That's actually what would be referred to as an algorithm. The step-by-step way we do something. And then the way the machine would address that, or the software would address that, is, okay, they do it this way. So that's what an algorithm is. Did that make sense? Okay, because I don't want to lose nobody. All right, so As I was saying, AI uses techniques from probability theory, economics, and of course the algorithm. Now, although the concept of an AI has been around since like the 19th century, when it was first proposed, when they did something called an imitation game to assess machine intelligence, it only became really feasible to achieve in recent decades due to the increased availability of computing power and the mass amount of data that's available for a AI artificial system to be trained on. Because it comes across as though the machine is really thinking, but in reality, it's just following. It has a great deal of an ability to work like, say, our brains work, right? The thing that the idea behind AI is you should think about it like what distinguishes human beings or human intelligence from that of other creatures. And that's our ability to learn from experiences and apply these lessons to new situations, right? So we can do this because of our advanced brain power, because of the amount of neurons, the way our brains are constructed, and the amount of impulses, electrical impulses that go through our brains. And they just recently, and when I say recently, in the last 20 years, discovered how when you are actually engaged in learning new information and new knowledge, your brain, your physical brain, actually reconfigures itself because it's creating additional new pathways because of the new information that you learn. When we was kids, they used to think that once you became an adult, whatever happened with your brain, you just grew, your brain was what it was. But of course, additional research, deep science research, and their capacity to see deeper into what's going on in our bodies, they actually literally found out that the brain, the physical aspect of the brain, actually reconfigures it as it learns something new. To me, that's crazy, but that's what it is, right? So let's say today's computers, for instance, they don't match the human biological neural network, not even close. But they have that one significant advantage over us, and that's their ability to analyze vast amounts of data and experiences much faster than we ever could hope to do, right? So AI lets you focus on the most critical tasks. Now, this is looking at AI as a tool. So AI lets you focus on the most critical tasks and make better decisions based on acquired information that's related to however you want to use it. It can be used for complex tasks, such as predicting maintenance requirements. It can be used to detect credit card fraud and finding the best route for a delivery truck. In other words, AI can automate many business processes, leaving you to concentrate on whatever the core aspect of your business is. So when we think of AI, fundamentally, you really should think of AI as a tool, right? And that tool has the capacity to allow you to be a great deal more productive when you figure out specifically how you're going to apply the technology. Hold on, I got to check something right quick because we got a guest supposed to be coming. I want to make sure he's still coming on. Excuse me 1 second. Kind of let what I said ferment and think about any questions you may have at this juncture.
So how's everybody dealing with this now?
Well, I for one. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Somebody's calling me.
I just know I got to work on time. I left on time and I work
Wait,
inside, so it's okay.
so Nisi, I don't want to put you on blast, but we talking about your side hustle.
Oh yeah, my haunted house.
So wait, it's a year-round thing.
It has just become a year-round thing. Before it was every Halloween season. Now they have opened up the escape rooms yearly, and every now and then, like for Christmas, they did the Christmas haunt. They about to do the Valentine's Day haunt. I won't be there
All right, my
because I have
apologies, y'all.
other things to do.
No, that's all right. Nisi sat in for you.
Oh, I see. Nisi, I know Nisi do her thing. Okay, so what's the last thing I said?
So you were explaining to us a little bit deeper into the whole AI and what it's
Oh
so
yeah,
the
yeah,
concept.
yeah. So as we see, AI primarily can be used in many aspects in industries because we're talking about a computer program basically that allows you to utilize it in a way that you can increase your productivity as you know how to specifically apply overall as a software tool, if you will. Now, just to give you some insight before I pass it over, okay, when you talk about AI, there are particularly some clear common misconceptions, right? Now, artificial intelligence is the most trending field of computer science. However, with all the new technology and research, it's growing so fast that it can be confusing to understand what is what. Furthermore, there are many different fields within AI, and each one having its specific algorithm. We just went over what an algorithm is. Therefore, it's essential to know that AI is not a single field, but a combination of various fields. For instance, artificial intelligence is the general term that's used for being able to make computers do things that require intelligence if done by humans. But AI can be broken down in two major fields. One is made what they call ML, machine learning. The other being neural networks. Both of these are subfields under artificial intelligence, and each one has its methods, and each one has its specific algorithms associated with how to help solve problems. So let's talk about machine learning right quick. Machine learning makes computers learn from data and experience to improve their performance on some task or decision-making processes. So ML uses statistics and probability theory for that purpose. Machine learning uses algorithms to parse the data and learn from it, and then make determinations without explicit programming. So machine learning algorithms are often categorized as either supervised or unsupervised. Supervised algorithms can apply what has been learned in the past to a new data set, whereas unsupervised algorithms can draw inferences from said data sets. So now when you think of machine learning algorithms that are designed to strive to establish some type of what's the word I'm thinking of? Linear, and then some type of nonlinear relationship as it relates to that given set of data. So that feed is achieved by statistical methods that's used to train the algorithm to classify or predict from a data set. I know that's a mouthful, but you're gonna get all this. Now, that's machine learning. Now we take the other subset, which deep learning. Now, deep learning is a subset of machine learning that uses multi-layered artificial neural networks to deliver state-of-the-art accuracy and as it relates to object detection, speech recognition, and language translation. So deep learning is a crucial technology behind driverless cars, and it enables machine analysis of large amounts of complex data. For the example, recognizing for an example, recognizing the faces of people who appear in an image or a video, for instance. So, neural networks. Now, all of this, neural networks in particular, because when you think of computers, period, is based on the human brain, right? So when you talk about neural networks, it's actually inspired by biological neurons in the human brain and are composed of layers of connected nodes that are referred to as neurons. And those neurons that contain mathematical functions to process incoming data and then predict an output value, meaning basically artificial neural network learns by example. Similarly to how we learn as humans from our parents, teachers, and peers, they consist of at least 3 layers: an input layer, hidden layers, and an output layer. And each one of those layers contains nodes, which are also known as neurons, which have weighted inputs that compute the output. So in essence, the performance of traditional machine learning models plateau, and then throwing any more data at it doesn't help improve the performance. Whereas deep learning models continue to improve in performance with the more data you give it. I hope that made sense, right? So we talked about learning more about ChatGPT and how to utilize AI in a way that you get some kind of sense of how it's used. You want some kind of example. So let me introduce an amazing young man. This young man is a technological whiz, in my opinion. A lot of what I've learned to come to understand about AI to this point, beyond what I've studied, comes from my interactions and engage with him, because he's such an amazing person that works with me with the sales and marketing and a couple of the companies that I deal with. And he's also my partner when it comes to helping businesses understand the impact of how they can utilize technology, period, and particularly AI to improve their business operations. This young man's name is Derrick McMichael. So everybody, Derrick McMichael. And I'm going to pass him the ability to share his screen. So introduce yourself, Derrick.
Hey there, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Hello. As Adiyb said, what I do is I help a lot of different businesses with implementing their technology in different ways where they can automate different processes that really generate revenue that typically might be the more mundane tasks that just take up time that computers nowadays can do for us, but might require more in-depth development. And now the cool things with AI, there's a lot of that development you guys can actually do from the comfort of your home and get it done faster than it would have taken a whole dev team to get it done just a year ago.
A whole,
Honestly,
what kind of team? Excuse me, what kind of team?
Development team. So like
Okay.
programmers, you can call them a dev team, right? There's certain projects that I'm working on right now that, just for example, we did the same project a year and a half ago, and it would have cost about $10,000 to get the project done, 3 months of development. Some of these projects now we're able to get done $500. It only takes like a month and a half of development instead. And that's obviously from a more technical programming standpoint of things. Like, I'm not expecting everyone here to be in full development in terms of like writing Python or anything like that, but there's a lot of day-to-day tasks and things in terms of your business that you can implement with where you can implement AI right now and probably see your productivity increase tenfold.
You want to take over? Excuse me. You want to take over? You got a request to be able to do it, right?
Yeah, I can share my screen, but before I do that, I'd love to just like learn a little
Okay,
bit
go
more
ahead, do your
about
thing.
us. You know, if anybody here has any specific questions about AI or use cases where they're like, hey, could this be helpful for me? Maybe we could even go over certain use cases right now in these next 30 minutes.
Maurice, you had mentioned you wanted to be able to use it. Explain to Derrick what you was talking about using AI as it relates to what you're trying to do.
So, Derrick, first of all, nice to meet you, and thank you for volunteering to share your knowledge with us. So, I would like to learn about AI because I want to be able to use it to help me write better resumes for my audience, for my clientele. But more importantly, I'd like to understand how employers are now using AI to screen resumes.
Okay, awesome. Do you have I mean, I could probably pull an example offline, but if you have an example resume that maybe we could use.
Uh, let me
Maybe
look.
not. Okay.
Give me a moment.
I think it'd be great if we could just take like a real life example real quick. Um, but obviously, if anything's, I know with resumes and stuff like that, things are certain confidential as well. So if anything's just too confidential, obviously I can pull an example offline.
All right, sorry, I had to step away for a second. Did I miss anything? You need
No, no,
me?
no, no.
All right, cool.
But Derrick, the one I was going to give is actually mine, and you just mentioned confidentiality. So maybe if you got a neutered one from offline, that might work.
Yeah, sure. Let's how about this? Let's do LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn has a way where I can just like export a resume from my own account. So let's see. Cool, there is. So I'm going to save my LinkedIn profile as a PDF real quick. Let me share my screen so that way you guys can. Oh, Adiyb, I still can't share my screen actually. You could change that so that way I can share. That'd be great. Hello? Hey, Adiyb.
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Hey, I can't. I still can't share my screen.
All right. Don't you got to request it?
No, no, no. It should. You have to change in the settings. When I press share, it says host disabled participant.
All right, hold on.
Not letting me
Let me
request.
go in. Oh, yeah, my bad. I just thought about how to do it. Okay.
And while you guys are doing that, so Derrick, does my request sound feasible? Is there a software? Is there a practice that employers are using AI to screen resumes?
100%.
There you
Okay,
go.
good.
All right. Let me share my screen. Oh, I still not letting me.
Hold on 1 second, because I said allow blah, 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 participants. Share notes options, reactions. Okay, I share note option. Then it says allow participants to share notes. Okay, who can start
Oh, not no.
sharing?
People share screen. Not
Oh,
not to
shoot.
share screen. Yeah.
All right, see? Okay. Let me go over here. Oh, okay, multiple. There you go. You got it now?
Give me 1 second. Haha, yes. Now I can share my screen. Perfect.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
All right, let me try to clean it up a little bit though, because I got 1,000,002 tabs now. You know how it is. I'm about to just share my whole screen. Please do not what is it? Judge my 1,000,002 windows. And oops, and I actually minimize what I want to do. Okay, cool. So this is, as you guys probably know, or I hope so.
Well, no, this is I was gonna allow you to show them how to do it, but go ahead.
Oh, all right. So cool. This is awesome. This is ChatGPT. I'm honored to be able to introduce you guys to what is probably my #1 assistant nowadays. This is right now probably the most powerful language AI model available on the open market. The company, the company OpenAI is also the same company that's responsible for like DALL-E, which you might have also been hearing about a lot as of recently with their image generation. And everything that you had asked about, Maurice, with being able to screen a resume and create a resume, we can actually do all of that right here from ChatGPT 4. Now, ChatGPT 4 is a paid version of ChatGPT. It costs about $20 a month. And what you can see is up here, there are different versions of ChatGPT. A lot of people right now are still using what we call 3.5, and it's great for your typical everyday tasks. But with ChatGPT 4, we're able to have a few extra functionalities. And the specific functionality that we're going to need for your task is the ability to upload files. Now, it's not a necessity. Technically, we could probably get away with this with 3.5, and we can copy and paste the information in there. But in terms of ease of use and getting things done even quicker, I would recommend something like a GPT-4, and because it has the ability to upload a file. Just to remind everyone, Maurice's use case was he was looking to really streamline the HR department, able to start screening resumes, and then also help with the development of resumes. Maurice, am I correct? Cool. So the first thing, I'm gonna do exactly that. I'm gonna show you how quick and how easy it is to do it. The first thing that we're going to always do is a little expert tip is we create what we call a persona. Right? And that's when we tell GPT exactly what it is that kind of the role that we want it to play, right? We're going to do a little bit of role playing. And what I did was I wrote a really, really basic persona prompt for GPT, and I said, hey, please provide a persona for a top tier HR representative and hiring agent. That simple. And what it's going to do is it's going to give me this imaginary person who has a master's degree in human resources and management, 15 years of HR experience in the field. And the cool thing about the AI is what it's done is it's really scanned all these different online profiles. And what it's doing now is when I give it, when I tell it, hey, now I want you to also be Elizabeth, right? Not just tell me who Elizabeth is, but act as though you are Elizabeth. It's naturally going to feed me information that other profiles online who have this 15-year of HR experience would do. So if there is a community that specifically was around HR agents, maybe a public group on Facebook or something, ChatGPT has scanned all of that information from their chats already. It had scanned up to, I think it's 30 or 40% of the internet as of 2021. And it's still updating itself. ChatGPT 4 is actually scanning the internet right now. 3.5 it stopped scanning as of 2001. But this is really effective. This is going to be super effective when it comes to our prompting in the future, because now we're not trying to always tell it how to think and then give us an answer. We're going to tell it right from the beginning that it is Elizabeth. And I've already kind of messed up this prompt because I started it with pretending that it was ChatGPT. I'm like, hey, provide me this persona. So I actually just created a completely new chat. And I say, you are now, I'm going to copy everything about Elizabeth. I'm going to be like, you are now Elizabeth Torres. This Zoom thing got in the way. Hold on. Please learn more about yourself. And it's just going to scan everything about Elizabeth, and it's going to know who it is now. As Elizabeth Torres, embody a competitive dynamic thing, you're expert. So actually, I'm going to stop this one because it keeps saying your versus I, right? So I don't like when it does that. I want to say I am. You are now Elizabeth Torres. Please learn more about yourself. And then I'm going to do something like this underneath, and then maybe underneath of it, I'm going to say, as Elizabeth Torres, what is, like, I'm just going to go right into the prompt now. I'm going to be like, what are 3 things you care about when recruiting? And then I would name like the position. So we don't know exactly what, or actually, Maurice, you have a question?
Yeah. So when recruiting supervisors, frontline supervisors.
Yeah, we'll even say frontline supervisors. And this will just kind of tell it real quick, like, hey, you are Elizabeth. As Elizabeth Torres with that's what I'm looking for right here. It's my extensive experience. Whenever it says you, then it's confused. Usually all you have to do is tell it, you are now this person, but every once in a while that's messed up the way they just did. So the things that it's looking for, mind blown real quick. Cool.
Yeah. Wait, I could pause for just a minute because I'm a boomer, so I'm probably old, grumpy, and cranky. So this program has just taken on, I'll use your word, the persona of an HR recruiter with several years of experience. And I mean, it became the person. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, it's mimicking because it's still the computer, right? But it's doing its best to mimic being this person at its fullest capacity, at a level of which, there's the Turing test, which is a computer test that us programmers use, where pretty much it's like, can a computer act as though it's a human? And the idea is, if 1/3 of people in a test believe that it's a human when talking to it, then it's passed the test. This easily passed the test. So you could say it's becoming the person. I think that's the easiest way. Nowadays, people feed so much information about themselves to ChatGPT. They're selling what they consider like virtual clones of themselves, right? Because it's become them. But really what it's doing is mimicking. And I think it's a very important distinction, because it lets us know, like, hey, it is still really a computer. It's not an actual person. Because eventually they will, in the next decade, they'll put like an Elizabeth Torres computer chip into like an actual robot. And then it's just like, oh, it's Elizabeth. Like, understanding those differentiations are going to be very important in the future. I hope that answers your question. Maybe it's too technical.
Phenomenal. So I saw two things. I saw you using ChatGPT. I saw you generate a resume for this particular function, the function of an HR recruiter. Yeah, so I saw two things. Yes.
So at this point, I actually haven't even generated the resume. Really, all I did was I told it to take on this person as Elizabeth, right? And what maybe Elizabeth's job now to do is to actually write the resume. So I could feed it information. I could tell it information about myself and say, hey, this is, please write a resume based off of this information. But instead, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm actually going to have it dissect information. And this is obviously the use case right now is for an HR recruiter. But if you were doing bookkeeping, or if you were trying to understand your taxes and you just have bank reports that you wanted to upload, and you're just like, hey, how should I file for my taxes? I'm not saying ChatGPT should be your accountant, but it probably has just as much information, if not more, than your accountant. So this is where GPT-4 comes into hand, mainly, and that's with the uploading of the data. So GPT-4 has an attachment icon right here, and by clicking on it, I can actually upload any file. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a PDF. This PDF, if I open it real quick, it's a quick PDF that was made from my LinkedIn account. I went to linkedin.com and you can download a PDF resume. What I did was I went to LinkedIn, I downloaded the PDF resume so that way we had something to work with. I'm just going to attach it as a file to my GPT. Now, after attaching it as a file, I'm going to ask it a little bit. I would really ask it whatever questions I'm curious about, as an HR rep or as a company owner, right? This resume that I just uploaded mainly has to do with my music background and running a record company and setting up different digital solutions for entertainment companies. So just to give you guys a little bit of background of what's in there right now. Maurice, hey man, what would be a question that you might ask an HR rep to determine whether or not somebody is a good fit for a job that you're hiring for?
So I would ask, is there an amount of time that a person must have worked in that area? So
that's
phrase it how.
So how about this instead? If you were hiring somebody, the question really more so is you've already determined the amount of hours, right? So I'm shifting it. So instead of figuring out, hey, how many hours typically does somebody need for this role, right? Because that's something that we can Google. We can Google that question, and Google's going to tell us
Okay.
right there at the top, right?
Okay.
There's probably a certain amount of hours that you've already determined, or a level of expertise that someone must already have to be suitable for a role, right? The cool thing that we can do right now is I can just upload.
Wait. Better question. Because if we're talking about a frontline supervisor, how many people must they have supervised?
Let's see.
Or what's a better way to ask that?
So let's do this. So if we're going to look for a frontline supervisor, right? supervisor. That's if that's the role specifically, right? I already know my I don't know, maybe GPT will say that my resume is great for a frontline supervisor. I don't even know what a frontline supervisor really does. So I doubt it, but let's test it real quick. We asked it already, where we asked Elizabeth, right? When we asked Elizabeth, 3 things that you care about when recruiting for a frontline supervisor, right? I just uploaded my profile. It gave us 3 specific things, industry specific.
Yeah, and those are very good answers. Those I read those. Those are very good answers.
Awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell it what it is that I'm feeding it in terms of information. So I'm giving it my PDF. I'm feeding it the information that I'm feeding it is a PDF file that is my resume, right? I'm going to let GPT know. I'm going to let Elizabeth know that, hey, this is my resume. Based off the resume, would I make a good frontline supervisor, right? So let's see what it just said. I'm going to say attached is a resume for Derrick McMichael based on the information inside. Would he make a good frontline supervisor? And then I'm also going to say, I wanted to provide information for why, would, or wouldn't. It's always going to provide info, but typically it will be more surface level information unless you ask for it to go in more in depth and provide a little bit more info. So I'm going to say, please provide, I'm going to say 5 reasons why he would or would not. Actually, I'm just say, please provide 5 supporting reasons for your decision.
Wow, you can get that granular.
Yes. Well, Robert test it. You can get that granular, but computers are always, they do their computer stuff. Based on Derrick's resumes, here's 5 reasons supporting his potential for a good frontline supervisor. Oh, cool. Leadership experience. As the founder of CEO of Loud Music, Derrick has demonstrated leadership skills by overseeing day-to-day operations and leading the company's management team. His extensive experience in the music industry, including Universal Music Group, Sony, ATV, Columbia Records, and more, shows his deep understanding of the industry in which he is essential for a frontline supervisor. So that's the one thing right there. We didn't provide an actual industry, right? So based on my industry, it thinks that I would be a great frontline supervisor in the music industry, right? If we switched it to that might completely flip. But yeah, it can get that full.
The same one. The address.
It can give us the full a breakdown of the resume. And if I ask for more supporting decisions or supporting reasons, it would give us more. It gave us 5 specific ones because I asked for 5.
So, Derrick, you are an excellent facilitator when it comes to this.
Thank you.
So I could take the knowledge that I gained from you in this 90 minutes or whatever time we spend together. But then when I subscribe to ChatGPT 4, does it come with a tutorial, or is it, you're doing an excellent job, but clearly you're giving me a high level view of this. If I needed to spend some more time understanding all of the basics, is there a tutorial that comes with my subscription?
No, there's no tutorial that comes with anyone's subscription. There are a lot of different use cases where you could find different tutorials on like YouTube. But I think the best way to really get used to ChatGPT is to come in here and just start talking to it, right? Before I even, so if you look here on the side, these are all previous conversations that I've had with ChatGPT, right? And I can keep scrolling down. It just keeps loading at the bottom. And this is just one account. I have another account. I might have 2 other accounts actually. So I've been conversating with it for a very, very, very long time. And some of these chats, see, this is 2023. So this was a whole, well, never mind. That was only like a few days ago, right? 2023. But it's been a long time, right? Because here's still the previous 30 days. So these ones that say 2023, this is not just like last year, 3 weeks ago. This is throughout the full year. And some of these chats are very expansive. And because of that, I've been able to learn more of what it can do. So for example, this is a chat, right? This is ChatGPT literally writing my code for me at times, where we have an issue and like, how do we fix this bug? Putting the code directly into ChatGPT and saying, hey, how can we possibly update this? These are functions that I didn't know it would be able to do until I tested it. And that's one of the things about these learning models. Even the developers don't know everything that it can do until they test certain things. Belinda, I see that you have your hand up.
Yes, good evening. And thank you also, Derrick, for coming in and helping us, as Maurice say, us old grumpy people, although I'm not. But Maurice, Maurice had brought up a couple of things I was going to ask. So I'm going to go straight to the question I have. I'm a playwright, and I'm working on a screenplay right now. So have you known anyone who have used this to enhance or get other ideas about a screenplay that they're writing?
Yes, 100%. I know people
Okay.
used it for various different writing projects, screenplays, books, video scripts for like YouTube videos.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, sure thing. So with Maurice's example, it was easy to kind of pull a resume. What I did was I just went right here to my own LinkedIn and I was able to download the PDF, right? In your case, I would do the same thing in terms of uploading the actual screenplay and then asking specific questions. But let's say we were starting from just a blank sheet of paper, right? That, which is sometimes the hardest place to start from. You have no traction at all. But, and where I would start with ChatGPT usually is from a marketing perspective. I'm usually always thinking about my brand and my market as well, right? So I would assume I probably would come here knowing already a little bit of what I want to write about. Actually, let's do it this way. Belinda, tell me about your screenplay, if you don't mind. Where?
Oh, no, I don't. No, I don't mind. It's about colorism.
Okay.
It's about why people of color across the world, but particularly the play I'm writing here in the United States, why they don't want to be dark skinned anymore, and they're taking certain kind of medicines and procedures to turn their skin from dark to white. So it's actually a horror movie, but
Okay.
the theme is colorism. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna just
That's scary already, but keep going.
So I'm always going to start with the persona still, right? I'm going to say, please give me a persona for a veteran screenplay writer. And who has a deep connection with the African diaspora and the effects of colorism. I'm gonna put that in quotes just because it doesn't fully know if that's a real word. Colorism, both in the USA and
Africa. Just say Africa. Mm.
All right,
That's
cool.
where it's starting, to be truthful.
Isaiah Washington, background, 55 years old, ethnicity, African American, place of birth, Harlem, New York City, right? Went to UCLA School of Theater, Film, and Television, fluent in English and conversational in Swahili. This is, again, the persona that the AI is taking on now. Has created philosophies, like believes in the power of storytelling as a tool for social change and cultural understanding. Right? Do you think that, Belinda, is this somebody just based off of a quick description of Isaiah? Do you think that this is somebody who might be on your team when writing a screenplay, specifically colorism?
Right. That's the kind of person that you would, because you always want to have as much truthfulness in whatever you write, and you do your research and your background. Yeah, that'd be fine. So yeah, so that's about a person. So do you recommend that I upload a portion of my screenplay in there and say, what would be the statement? How do you enhance? How do you?
Well, the first thing that we always do, if you were to take it as an action list, my first action on the top of the list is always to create a persona, right? So what I did was my first prompt was I just said, please give me a persona for, and then I explain who the person is.
Okay, so right, I'm sorry to interrupt. So in this case, if I want to enhance what I'm writing, I can give this the persona of the character that I'm writing about.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
You could tell it, if you wanted to, you could tell ChatGPT about the character who you're writing about. And instead of saying, give me a persona, you could explain the persona already, which is the next chat I do. I pretty much copy and paste what ChatGPT said. And I say, hey, be this person. If you already know who that person is, you can say, hey, be this person first. And then you could ask it questions based off as though it was the main character in your screenplay, right? If you're lost, how would you that's one way.
I got you. Okay.
The way I was doing it right now was I was creating another screenplay writer to be an assistant to help you in your writing process, right? So this is two different use cases really that still gets the same result done, helping you with your screenplay. But what we've done is what I always start with is defining who is ChatGPT in this use case. So my use case was ChatGPT was going to be an assistant writer who's named Isaiah Washington. But you might decide instead you want ChatGPT to take on being your main character and tell you how it would feel in these situations in your screenplay to help you through writing.
Right. Great. Okay. Thank you.
Y'all see what I'm talking about? Anyway, go ahead.
Well, wait. So Derrick.
Yeah.
Derrick, just on the dark side of the moon, if I thought to myself, I would like to write a scientific paper.
Yes.
I would create a persona that was a rocket scientist, and then that persona would tell me about, I don't know, rocket science.
I would literally I would say, give me a persona of a rocket scientist who is as smart as Albert Einstein, but specializes specifically in thermodynamics.
Yes.
One last thing, and I think I already know the answer, but again, old and grumpy. So all of these chats, even going back to 2023, it's not you verbally communicating. This is you writing and having a written dialogue with ChatGPT 4 and it responding. And each time you have this dialogue, it becomes what? It becomes more sentient?
Well, what happens is in a sense, because everybody's information is being collected so that way it can learn more, like the model itself can learn more. But there's reasons why they do the upgrades, right? So we went from 3.5 to 4, right? There's going to be an upgrade where we go from 4 to a 4.5. Same way as the iPhone, right? From the iPhone to iPhone like 13, 14, 15, whatever they have now, right? And it's going to keep getting smarter, and you could say kind of sentient in that sense. But when you create a new chat and you come here to ChatGPT and you start a new chat with it, it does not retain the information from your previous chat with it. That's the reason why when I first start and I get my persona created, I create a new chat because I want to have a fresh chat where it knows from the very beginning to start thinking like this person. I don't want to have to spend any time trying to convince it to switch from the person who gave me the persona to now being the Isaiah Washington. I wanted to just start as Isaiah Washington. So each new chat is like a fresh start with GPT. So sometimes what happens though is you have to get further down the chat in order for it to give you something really powerful, right? You keep feeding it little bits of information to get what you really want. So here's an example of one of my prompts. I told it that's Dr. Alex Rutherford, right? Who's a PhD in computer science from MIT. It figured out who it was. It let me know. It said, hi, I'm Dr. Alexander Rutherford. Here's a brief overview.
Listen.
From there, I didn't even give it the information immediately for the code that we were building. I just like asked if it was ready. Hey, Dr. Alex Rutherford, are you ready to start working on this? Because I want to make sure it responds to the name. I don't want it to think like it could, if it didn't know that it was Dr. Alex Rutherford, it would have been like, it would have been like Dr. Alex, it would just give me something weird, right? So sometimes you have to feed it these little bits of information step by step to get what you want out of it. And you can do that in one chat thread, but every time you create a new chat, it's a completely new version of GPT right now.
Okay, yes, is all I can say. Come and get this. This is a pound. Bam.
Hey, thank you, man.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
if
excuse me,
anybody-
Derrick. So let me ask this quick question. So is this what y'all wanted? Is this what y'all meant by a step by step?
I'm gonna say
Pretty
yes.
much. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure we on point. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to also just make sure that any questions that maybe might have arose from this brief overview, I'm able to answer. I know I've been answering a bunch of different questions, but you guys, I have, another 10 minutes or so to answer questions if you guys have any.
Just real quick.
Okay.
I don't mean to monopolize. Just real quick. So, Derrick, I have a free ChatGPT that I signed in for, that I logged in for. Can I use that one to become my subscription, or do I just have to start all over again?
What do you mean to become your subscription?
So
To upgrade the GPT-4?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. There's I believe it's down here in the bottom left-hand corner where your name is. I think there's an option like here in the settings or something where you can upgrade. There is an upgrade button somewhere. They're always changing the user interface. So I know that's where it was when I had upgraded, but you can upgrade your current version to GPT-4.
I'm good.
So-
Thank you, Derrick. One more time. Come get this.
Thank you, Maurice.
Mr. Derrick, if you don't have one at all, I'm a little late coming in the chat, so I can definitely ask Mr. Adiyb. But if you don't mind sharing, how do we get this? Like, is it just an app? Is it free? Is it, because she said a free subscription?
Let's go over that actually. So GPT-4 or ChatGPT is free. Anybody can join ChatGPT.
Open
I want to
AI.
open up a new tab real quick to see. Can you guys see my screen right now where it says you've gone incognito?
Correct.
Okay. So if you search ChatGPT in Google, or I know you just said we can go to openai.com, but because they have a few different AIs. Okay, it's actually right here in the top corner. So I'm gonna put this in the chat for everyone right now.
Okay.
You guys can go in there and create an account right now if you haven't done it yet.
Okay. Perfect.
I'm gonna give it a moment. Everyone can go there to openai.com. And right here in the corner, it's going to say try ChatGPT. So you click here and give you a getting started page. And you can choose to sign up either with your email or with Google. So is everybody who wants to sign up right now, are you guys currently at either OpenAI or on the sign up page with ChatGPT?
I have it. I'm watching it through my phone. Matter of fact, let me get my computer, my laptop open.
So, Derrick, my previous one, I used my Google login. Does that matter?
No, it does not. You can still upgrade.
Okay.
And then also, if you use your Google one, as well as you can also sign in from your phone. There is an app on your phone, and you can sign in via Google on your phone as well. And sometimes the phone one comes in handy. So they're going to add in voice to ChatGPT in the next major update, where you'll be able to communicate with ChatGPT via your voice, and it will read the prompts off to you with a robotic voice. So I recommend getting used to using it on your phone now, because in the next update, it's going to be real helpful being able to already use it on your phone. If you're used to doing it already, it's going to very quickly replace like Siri and the Google Voice and all those different voice protocols. Just so you guys know.
Perfect.
So, Leia, correct?
Yep, I'm on now. I'm doing create and it says I need a longer password. So I've got everything from your step by step. I'm now
Okay.
creating an account really quick. So 2
Cool.
seconds.
So yeah, so after you create an account, they might send you a confirmation email. If they do, just confirm via the link. And when you sign in by default, they'll give you like a quick welcome screen, but it's going to take you by default to the same exact screen that I have up right now. Only difference is yours is going to say GPT 3.5 up here. So I just switched it to 3.5. Earlier I was using GPT 4.
Is 3.5 the one I should be using or 4 because it's the newest?
So it depends on your use case. It depends on what you're using the AI for. At $20 a month and as much smarter as GPT-4 is, I recommend it to everybody. But the reality of it is most of the stuff that you can do, I think most of the day-to-day tasks that people are doing, they only really need 3.5 for. I mean, all right, so Leia, what would you be using ChatGPT for off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, growing a business. My daughter has a lash company that I started, and so I would want to expand the brand as far as how she markets and what is marketing for her age demographic, and then just grow from there
Okay, cool.
most
So yeah,
immediately.
I would recommend then just starting with 3.5 because when it comes to marketing, there's a lot of different aspects to it. And right now, if you're looking at just getting general marketing assistance, you don't really need to upgrade to GPT-4. The GPT-4 will come into play more so if you started making, like, let's say you want to make custom graphics, right? GPT-4 has Dolly support built into it. I don't really use it but so much, but like that creates the custom images and stuff. So if you wanted to create a custom logo or you wanted to create a custom photo for like a blog or something, if you had a blog going to promote the lashes, then I would recommend upgrading to GPT-4. But right now, if you're doing things like, hey, I need help just coming up with the different social media post ideas, right? Let's say you wanted social media post ideas, at least one for each week, right? GPT 0.5 can do that for you with ease. If you needed to then write the captions for you as well and the descriptions in the Facebook post, GPT 3.5 can do all that for you. You don't need GPT-4. If you start using things like CSV files and you wanted to, let's say maybe you had a VA where you had a calendar already made in an Excel sheet or an Excel file, and you had the description of each thing for like each day, but maybe not the caption made. That's when GPT-4 comes into play because you can just like upload the Excel sheet. Like I can just come here as an attachment. I could upload the Excel sheet and then I could tell it write a description for each day that doesn't have a description yet.
So 3.5 cannot do that, or it can't do it that extensive.
It can't do it that extensively. I can't upload the file. See, so that's the big difference. Like GPT-4 could do something where I could upload a PDF. Like earlier, I had uploaded a PDF and got a review based on my resume. GPT 3.5 could give a review on the resume, but I would have to copy and paste in my information from my resume. The attachment icon, you can see it down here actually. There's no attachment icon. But if I switch to 4, then an attachment goes up and I add files.
Okay. So this one is always going to be financially zero, the 3.5. However, if you would like to upgrade, the upgrade fee would be $20 for the 4.
Yes, it's $20 a month for the 4.
Okay, perfect. And so I'm assuming just right here down at the space bars where I'll type things into message ChatGPT.
Yeah, right here.
Perfect.
I implore everybody here, don't be hesitant at all. Like if you don't know if GPT can do something, just ask it. Don't be the person who's here who's like, I don't know if it can do it. And waits all week, ask people, oh, have you tried this with GPT? Have you tried that? All you had to do was type it in and just ask, right? Even if you're just trying to get warmed up and understand where is his head at, you know, just like, hi, how are you? See where its head's at right now. Hi, I'm just a computer program. I don't have feelings, right? Like, okay, cool. You're just a computer program. It will respond to everything, even the things that it can't do. It will be like, I can't do this.
I just asked a question and said I cannot assist with that. I'm like, really? I'm not impressed. Oh my goodness.
See, so sometimes people just don't press enter because they're like, does it do this or not? It's so what if it can or can't do this? It's gonna tell you. It's not gonna break all of a sudden because you put in one wrong prompt. It's much more secure than that.
All right. So, any other questions?
Can I have your email, Mr. Derrick?
No, you can't have his email.
That he didn't answer.
No, girl, I'm messing
You know,
with you. You know I'm messing with you.
I'm gonna get
You're gonna actually sit at a table, Leia, and meet Derrick because of some of the stuff that we doing that I've already spoke to you about. So you're actually going to be instrumental in some of the strategies that we're going to employ. So just be patient. I got you.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice meeting you, Derrick. Thank you so much.
Wait. Do I have a seat at that table?
Huh?
Do I have a seat at that table?
This a acting and entertainment thing, Maurice.
Oh, okay.
Unless you
Okay. I just
trying to
want
act.
to look. It's just like that. No, wait. Hey, just like Derrick said, you don't know unless you ask. Derrick just said that.
True.
Yeah, but actually, Maurice, from the standpoint of the veteran scenario, you will be sitting at the table with us because I'm sure there'll be things that we'll collaborate on as veterans in order to facilitate what you're talking about because of the fact that I see another piece to what you're doing as it relates to helping these veterans transition, because some of these veterans may want to transition from the military into business as opposed to into job. So we'll talk about all of that. It'll actually
Fair enough.
it'll actually expand your offering. All right, cool. What about you, Dr. Sheena? Anything moving you with this? Was it what you hoped for?
Yes, it was. I had posed a question, but we didn't get to it about blueprints.
Sorry, I didn't see that. I was looking at everybody's hands that were raised.
Yeah.
What's your
Yeah.
question,
So
Dr. Sheena? Go ahead. What's your question?
I just wanted to know if it can create blueprints and what type of really, I know that it can create blueprints, but I don't know the type of questions to ask.
So when you say blueprints, are we talking like architectural blueprints? Like that's what I'm thinking of when you say blueprints. What do you mean by blueprints exactly?
Yeah, well, sometimes you have these ideas that you probably want to put on paper so you can create patents for. And I do a lot of birth work. And so I have some ideas about like different types of birthing chairs, for women who are in labor to support. And because, birthing is better in a squat than laying on your back. And so, I think we need apparatuses or something to.
Well, I actually work at the Patent and Trademark Office.
Oh, great.
I am a contractor at the Patent and Trademark Office. So we can help you with the aspect of developing your patent. And then Derrick is an expert in terms of how you would say, after developing that pattern, and probably assist you in knowing what questions how to approach ChatGPT to get your desired answer. He can definitely help you with that. So there's a combination of two things going on here. There's the aspect of ChatGPT, and then there's the aspect of the development of the patent itself to facilitate servicing women in that way.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that because I've tried, and what it's giving me is pretty much something similar to a barbershop chair. And let me see. And then what I do is I ask Chat GPT to create the blueprint. Or first I started doing the image, and then I'll take the image over to the code over to Midjourney, and then
Go
Midjourney would
ahead,
create.
girl. You know some stuff. Go ahead,
Yeah, yeah.
girl.
But the image was something similar to a barbershop chair, and so it's just not hitting it. And
Oh,
I
I think
don't know what to say to get it right. Yeah.
that's the one thing that's really this is where humans shine, right? It's when it comes to being creative and just creating things that weren't there before, right? So AI, it's learned everything it's been learning has been from previous information on the internet, right? So when you're trying to have it create this new it's only thinking of it's reading everything, it's thinking of barbershop chairs. That's why everything looks like a barbershop chair, looks like a typical chair right now. So what you really have to do is, instead of feeding it the information in your mind in terms of like your vision, because it can't always do that, instead relating it to the closest thing that already exists, and then making minor tweaks to it, right? So for example, you're saying how women, it's much better for them to give birth when squatting in comparison to laying on their backs, right? Something that AI might understand immediately in terms of the benefits of the squat position, just off the top of my head, because I've been watching a lot of Shark Tank, is there's this product called the Squatty Potty, right? If you told it, even though that has nothing to do with the comfort or anything in terms of your product design, really, being able to feed it something like that, like, hey, create a design that uses the ergonomics of the Squatty Potty to better, and then like put in the birth piece, like that might be a much stronger foundation for it to build something from scratch than saying a chair. Even though a human might immediately be like, okay, they're thinking about a chair because they're thinking about the comfort immediately, you're thinking about the ergonomics around the chair, right? The AI, when you put that chair keyword in there, might be too powerful for it. Where now, especially when it comes to image generation, which hasn't been fine-tuned as much as the text, as the text generation, right? It might, that chair image might be a little bit too strong in your prompting. You might need to figure out some other key elements, some other keywords that you could throw in there to guide it a little bit. Yeah. You're on mute right now.
That was like an aha moment for me, because you're right. Um, everything about the Chat BTT is from previous, because
Yes.
it goes back.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that was an aha moment. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm.
Okay. Well, I
Go ahead,
what is
Derrick.
it? I'm about to have to hop on off.
Right, right.
But I appreciate you bringing me on. I hope I was able to be
Oh
a,
man.
a lot of help for you guys.
Man,
The reason
let's give
Thank
Derrick a virtual applause, everybody, because he did an excellent job. Thank you so much, Derrick. As I knew you would. I had no doubt in my mind, man, because you the bomb, man. You the bomb.
Hear ye.
like I said, man, it's been a pleasure. Adiyb, let me know in the future as you guys are progressing in the class if there's any other ways I might be able to help out. Um, I like where you guys' heads are all at. The questions that everyone was asking definitely lets me know that you guys are in the right place in terms of understanding how to utilize this AI to better yourselves and empower you in comparison to letting it be a fear that can then detriment your future. You're like, no, this is going to be a way to excel and move forward. And I think that that's awesome. So I applaud everybody in the class, and until next time.
All right, Derrick. Thanks you so much, bro. Talk to you. All right, folks. So that was a demonstration of the level of understanding that we can apply to this as this class evolves, and as this pursuit of a thorough, in-depth understanding of AI, and particularly how to use not only that tool ChatGPT, because we talking about AI tools, and it was a wonderful thing, Dr. Sheena, that you are actually an example of somebody that understands aspects of how to use this artificial intelligence technology in pursuing something that you're trying to create. So I applaud you for that. For you to mention Midjourney, I'm like, she knows some stuff. Midjourney, for all of you, Midjourney is an application that allows you to create images. You know, is that right, Dr. Sheena? Yep. So, and because within my mastery class that I'm taking, they actually are walking us. We just got to Mid Journey, and I showed y'all another image application last night, which was Leonardo.ai. Because there are, believe it or not, there are a plethora of various AI applications that's attempting and in very effectively imitating ChatGPT is the most difficult to imitate. But when it comes to Dolly, which is about images, you have well, let me just share this with you. I learned about 4 AI applications today. And what it was in this particular class, they was talking about ChatGPT, but they was teaching it from the standpoint of what you call frameworks and formulas, which primarily Derrick just broke down to y'all the framework and formula to utilize GPT to create a persona and begin to speak to it as though the ChatGPT is that person, right? That's why one of the ways when I initially started studying this, it was like they were saying, hey, you know, ChatGPT basically is like having an assistant who's very, very smart that happens to have a whole bunch of experience. And as a result of its experience, it draws on that experience, which is the entire data of the internet in any discipline, in any area. But what you have to do is, like Derrick was saying, you have to specify from which perspective that is teaching you in terms of what specific information you can use based on what you're trying to achieve. Did that make sense? Okay,
Definitely.
so what I was getting ready to share with y'all, okay, so we got a little insight into ChatGPT, but there's also a AI called Hagen. It's spelled Heygen. And the beauty of Hagen is you can actually create video avatars of yourself, right?
Can you spell it again?
Heygen, right? And then of course, Derrick just mentioned Dolly because Dolly comes from OpenAI as well, and that's Dalle. And I would get Dolly -3, I think it is, right? And then the other one is called, what was the name of that? Well, it's called AI Powered Sales Funnels Guarantee. Call it AI App Setter. But that's kind of like if you're setting up a situation when your leads come in, and say for instance they on your website and they just opted into your offer, and they just they watching the embedded video on your opt-in page, right? Or maybe even your second page or sales page from when they opt in, and then you may presented them with another video giving some kind of explanation or even another offer, right? But then while they're engaged, that's the beauty of AI App Setter, because that comes from Ted McGrath brands. And the beauty of that is while they're watching that video, the AI app setter will contact them via text while they're being engaged and say, hey, I see you watching. So it comes across like a person, right? And it increases, according to my man Ted McGrath, who provides this particular software technology, AI technology, to both Grant Cardone, 10X guy, and he got a $1 billion company, and to Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels, who just purchased all of the information for Dan Kennedy's company, the No BS newsletter. Now, these are all business aspects. I don't want to blow y'all head with that, but if some of this stuff I may mention, you might want to just take a quick note if you don't know about it so you can look it up, because it'll be in your business evolution. A lot of these other players will become instrumental in terms of modeling what it is you want to model in order to get to those millions of dollars, right? Because Dr. Sheena, have you ever heard of the 4 levels of value?
4 letters of
Four.
you said 4 letters of value.
4 levels of value.
More than one. No, that
Okay.
doesn't.
I will be sending you I'll be sending you what that is. I explained it last night, so you're gonna see it in the video, right? But it basically boiled down to understanding how it is that the levels of value that you provide to other people, there's certain levels of value that you get to based on understanding how you deliver the value, which will make the difference in your capacity to get to millions of dollars or be limited to 250,000 or limited to even 80,000, right? The first level is implementation, meaning you're the person that do the thing. The second level is unification, meaning you're the person that manage the people that do the thing. Both of those levels, the value that you provide is as a result of you using your physical capacity in exchanging time for money, right? The third level, which is communication, that's the first level that you can really begin to create real wealth, because communication, the resource that you use is your mouth, your capacity to communicate, right? And create messages that people latch on to and also buy your product as a result of your communicative capacity. Like if you sell Mercedes or Rolls Royce in that arena as a salesperson, you can create some value because of the nature of the price of those cars and your ability to articulate how that car will benefit that person who can afford to buy it. That's your ability to communicate. If you're an actor, you communicate through your performance and the projects that you're associated with that speak to creating projects that you do so well in, and they create residual money. And if you high end, you might be paying 10 million, $20 million a picture, right? So as a major singer, and we don't watch Beyonce do it. First of all, we can go back. We watched Oprah do it by having a show. And Oprah didn't have no special talent. She just was interviewing people. And so many people begin to watch her interviewing other people that established her as an authority. So when people watch her show, so many women was watching Oprah. When Oprah said, hey, go check this book out, she was making people rich. Right? That kind of thing. That's the communication capacity. She, by the way, what she was doing is a specific formula that you employ as a creative and a person that's willing to be in front of the camera, but you're not the expert. So what you do, you start a podcast or a show interviewing other experts, and you get so much information over time, you yourself become the expert. Right? But that's another story. So you got implementation, unification, and then the first level, which we all are on right now, whether we realize it or not. We are all communicators in some capacity because we don't have a problem talking to the market. Right? So now the fourth level, which we all would love to give to, where you can make billions of dollars, maybe $1 trillion, is the ability to have created enough wealth, meaning millions of dollars, to be able to utilize two resources: our imagination and our money to make more money. Use our imaginations by collaborating with other people who are like-minded, who are engaged in business, so that we ultimately attach ourselves in some equitable way in several businesses, not one business, several businesses, right? And then use our money to acquire appreciable assets. So those are the 4 levels of value, Dr. Sheena, right? Which we'll elaborate on another time. So are there any questions, comments about what you got in this class? Did I fulfill my obligation to show you how you can monetize ChatGPT? So that's what I said I was going to do.
Just from me, just from my perspective, you did an excellent job. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Maurice. I really appreciate it. Anybody else? Okay. Dr. Sheena, are you feeling like it was well worth your investment?
Yes, it was. I got a lot of questions answered.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've just realized that I just haven't pushed the needle on it because I have an account. I've had the account since it hit the market, but I haven't pushed it. So yeah, I got a lot out of it.
Okay, so what we really well, personally, let me just digress for a second and tell you what I personally began to understand, which contributes to in whatever level of success that I've achieved that's credible, authentic, and validated by you Google me. I have actually done the things that allude to me being able to say I am. Because in my world, you can't say you are anything unless you're actually engaged in the practice of being and becoming that and actually doing it before you say, you can't say I'm an actor and you're not acting. You can't say you're a director and you ain't directed nothing. You can't say you're a producer, you ain't produced nothing. You can't say you whatever follows I am and you haven't actually done that thing, right? So I teach from a perspective of as I learn various things, either from my experience or from what I've studied and I actually have seen implemented in such a way that people actually get the results that I'm going for. That's called modeling, right? Meaning that when I make a decision to say, well, okay, this is what I want to do, usually when I say this is what I want to do, the first thing comes to my mind is you have to become the person with the skills necessary to be able to do the thing, right? So I'm always thinking in terms, if I want to actually do this specific thing, then I have to become the person that has the skills necessary to be able to actually engage in that activity. And so from my perspective, there's a couple of levels of learning, period. There's the cognizant, conscious part of learning, acquiring information and having it in your head. But the reality is you can be aware of something, and this is what a lot of people do. Because they learn something new, they think they know it. Unless they actually engage in it and acquire the necessary experience associated with the knowledge that they now know, it's just some stuff that you're aware of. It's not something that you know. Because the only way you can actually know is through the experience of doing, right? And that's why the true test or moving towards mastery in anything that you say you want to become exceptionally proficient in is that you not only have to learn the strategy associated with it and maybe some tools associated with it, and maybe understand that you have to acquire the skills to do the thing. It's in the doing that we acquire the experience and doing it over and over and over again. So it becomes second nature. That's when you can ultimately say you have mastered this aspect of whatever. And I always would recommend to people that when you take a look at achievement and you take a look at knowing that you have to become that person that deserves based on your experience and you're actually doing that thing to be able to say, this is who you become, you have to take in consideration that it's about stacking skills. Because there are various levels that we all have in a particular area on skills. And sometimes what holds us back without us realizing what holds us back is what you just said, Dr. Sheena. We come in contact with these things, we do a little bit with it, but we don't take the time to focus on it for a specific period of time to achieve enough mastery of utilizing that tool to get the desired results that we want. Whew, that was a lot. Anyway, so I hope that y'all will consider. I will be following up. I'm gonna send y'all the videos from tonight, this training here, yesterday, and the bonus video from Wednesday, right? So you're gonna actually get 3 videos which will go all through this information that we've touched upon so that you can revisit some things that you might have heard and you want to get a little deeper. And what I always recommend as you listen to these lessons, there are areas that may be mentioned or words that may be used that you're not quite clear on. It's always about continuous self-development and growth. So pick up the dictionary or look into that area and get clarity on what it means that word means as it relates to what we're doing. And I guarantee you, you will continue to grow in this, whether you continue to study with me or anybody, but study this stuff. AI we are early adapters. Don't even pay attention because see the technology is evolving so fast because they went from ChatGPT to ChatGPT 3.5 to ChatGPT 4, and like Derrick alluded to as it relates to Apple phones, it's going to be another versions because what's going on, ChatGPT is getting smarter and smarter and smarter through the engagement with various peoples like ourselves who are beginning to use it in the unique ways that they're using it, which is enhancing ChatGPT's ability to acquire additional information in various sectors. every business, every high-end business right now is using AI. Anybody want to say anything? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to stretch that a little bit
Go ahead.
because you are absolutely right when you say that this technology has taken off and that there is a lot of potential in this technology. And I remember when it hit the ground and started, running away. And, I'm a little bit about politics a little bit. And so in the political world, though, and in that world where, it's not necessarily cute for people of color to advance, immediately there was a lot of and people coming to the culture of people of color, saying this is the devil, this is a bad thing and you shouldn't bring this. I mean, it came into our churches and things of that nature, and then people said, oh no, don't touch that, don't touch that, don't touch that. Which is the similar type of behavior that has happened throughout this United States of America when it comes to advancement of people of color. It's like you're at the bottom of the totem pole, and this is where we want you to stay in perpetuity. And if anything hits the ground that can advance you, we certainly don't want you to have a part of that. And so I feel bad that that has happened because ChatGPT, or what, the name of it, and all of these things have gotten a bad rap in the culture called people of color.
Of
And
course, you're absolutely right.
that clarion call to say, this is something that can help you advance you and your aspirations if you learn how to use it properly.
You are absolutely spot on. So let's talk about that, because part of what you're experiencing in our interaction is an effort on the part of conscious brothers of color who understand the importance of bringing this technology to our people, no matter what level they're on, because ultimately that effort that you recognize, that you point out, is always the effort that's used within those environments where people are susceptible to being programmed outside of their own interests. And unfortunately, the churches is sometimes one of the main proponents because they already have been dealt with in such a way that they've identified that which created all of this as being mainly outside of themselves, and they're having to pursue. But if you know anything about our ancestry from the continent of Africa, going all the way back to pre-Western civilization, Africans have always been taught we are a part of that which created all of this and an expression of that. So anything in this world as it relates to our capacity to create, that's the distinction and the determining factor that gives us power, by recognizing that we are all connected and we're not Eurocentric in the sense of we not these individuals personas that say that you're an individual, I got to compete with you, I got to fight against you, I got to hold you down, as opposed to recognizing that true power is all of us collaborating in a way that moves our communities, protects our children and our old people, and have us exercise the best of version of ourselves to be able to create peace in this environment by providing a means to protect, to feed, to clothe, and just outright protect ourselves as a community, and not hurting each other, killing each other for the crazy reasons that we've been programmed to believe mean something, if that makes sense. So there are all kind of examples of why it is that we need to, even without giving that much of an explanation, because some people are just not ready for the explanation, but they are ready to understand. Let's alleviate the anxiety associated with the uncertainty within your understanding of how this technology can be used, because the barriers of entry in every level of creation is gone now, except if you accept you can't do something, or if you accept this is not for you. But the reality is nothing on this planet that can be used that can facilitate a progression in our personal lives, in our families' lives, and in our businesses' lives that we can't learn how to use. Because all of it came from us anyway. But they ain't gonna tell you that. They're gonna act like it's new. And when you look at history for real, verifiable history with DNA and surgeries and all these things that people in Kemet was doing millions of years ago, that these people just getting around to even having a vague understanding. Because and if you're a traveler and you go to Kemet or go to Egypt and you really study hieroglyphics, which is the language which was showing what they was doing, because they take that information and they dissipate it in Europe and they dissipate it in France and they put it in Germany and they put it in all these various museums, so it disconnects you from recognizing that that's your people, right? But that's another story. I don't mean to get all into that. But the bottom line is when we talk about what's out here and available for us to advance ourselves. And the main thing that we really have to advance ourselves is what brothers and sisters have been saying in the United States since before slavery in the 1700s, during slavery, and after slavery, and up until today. Black people and other people of color have to come together and empower themselves in such a way that we control the commerce within our communities, much like it was with Black Wall Street and other areas like that. All the Black Wall Street, it wasn't just one town, believe me, you know. So when we talk about how we as a people, when we come together to facilitate protecting and serving ourselves without any outside influence, we always thrive. So if you understand that and you move in that way, when you talk about who are we serving as a people, and we should be serving ourselves, beginning with ourselves. Let's educate ourselves to understand how to utilize these various technologies to enhance our ability to create money machines, income streams, and thus acquire the resources necessary to actually be able to own some stuff and not just participate as consumers. I ain't mean to preach, but hey, that's what I'm thinking, and you made that come to my mind, Dr. Sheena. Thank you.
Period.
Yeah, yeah. So, are there any questions, comments, or something anybody want to say before we get up out of here? We got like 3 minutes.
I'm about to call you after this class.
Okay, no problem. All right, so if that's it, I first of all want to say I sincerely appreciate and am grateful for those of you that come and just participated in this class, because it inspires me to know that I can in some way share something with you that can move your life forward if you apply it. And I learned so much from you all as we collectively engage in conversation and perspectives, because that's how we all grow. So I want to thank each and every one of y'all for that. And this class is a continuing situation. We can talk about if you want to really continue, because what I'm thinking about doing, and maybe y'all can tell me if this makes sense. If I did a year-long program, a membership program where people say, let's say, pay $97 a month, right, for a whole year, and learn everything about various aspects of business that I'm familiar with, and I do believe in bringing in experts who can articulate even better than myself, right? And then create a membership, because I'd like to get 120,000 people, members, that we can all grow together, collaborate in various business activities and endeavors, and just make some real money together. That's what it boils down, because the money is the resource we need to change the situations, not only in our personal families, but for our communities. So think about that, because that's what I'm about to launch. I'm going to call it the CTC Academy. I'm a best-selling author for the book Masters of Success, where entrepreneurs and professionals reveal their secrets to mastering success in the areas of health, wealth, and lifestyle. That's where Create the Current came from. Create the Current is the foundation from which I teach, because creating the current means fundamentally, it's a metaphor I use that speaks to life can be like an ocean. Sometimes it seems calm on the surface, but if you're not careful, Meaning if you don't have a vision, don't have a purpose, not disciplined, not consistent, and not willing to engage in continuous self-improvement, then you can find yourself caught up in currents in life that can take you to places you don't want to be, right? And experience things you don't want to experience. So the best thing is to have a purpose and a vision of what it is you're trying to achieve. Thus, you have a target, because you can't hit a target you can't define or can't see. So if you have a target, then with all of the information, strategies, and tools that are available to us today, there's absolutely no reason that you can't hit your desired target, whatever it is. Now, financially, I got to give y'all this. You might have heard this, Maurice, yesterday. There are two things that are costing us more than everything that we can conceive of. And I'm going to give you number two first. Number two is taxes. I don't care what bracket they tell you in or you believe in you in, you're actually literally paying 51% tax on all the money that you earn because of sales tax, property tax, estate tax, all these various taxes that you pay, not only on the federal side, but on the state side. So hypothetically speaking, whatever you make a year, 51% of that money is already down the drain because of the aspect of things associated with taxes. So if you make $120,000 a year, you only really make 50-something thousand dollars a year. So let me tell you now what the number one reason we not where we need to be as it relates to the accumulation of wealth and creating a situation where we can pay all of the things associated in our lives, have some money to invest and grow, is our inability to be able to generate $1 million in 12 months. Right? So you make $120,000 a year. What is it costing you by these two things? The taxes, number two, and your inability to know how to create $1 million, number one. So if you make $1 million and you mind, or if you make $120,000 a year, subtract that from $1 million. So it's costing you $880,000 a year, not knowing how to make $1 million. So if you make $60,000 a year, whatever you make a year, subtract that from $1 million, and that's what it's costing you. And it's not costing you that a year, it's costing you that pretty much monthly because of your inability to do it. Just a thought, just a perspective, right? But that's how we looking at this thing. And I learned that from one of my mentors, a brother by the name of Myron. Write this name down. Myron, M-Y-R-O-N. Myron is his first name. Golden is his last name. Myron Golden. Begin to consume. I'm going to give y'all a gem that you may, from consuming his free content. I ain't even talking about things we paid to associate with him to learn how to do. From his free content, I guarantee you, you will, whoever you are, whatever you do, you can learn how to get to $1 million. If you just pay attention to the thinking. What he does, he teaches entrepreneurship and business from a biblical perspective, not a religious perspective, but a biblical perspective, which are universal laws, right? So technically, his perspective could be associated with the Bible, associated with the Quran, associated with the Bhagavad Gita, whatever books of spirituality, it's really associated with that because these are laws and principles of the universe, right? So I went a little over, but I wanted to share that with y'all. But Myron Golden, just go on YouTube, subscribe to his channel, because I'm in various masterminds with Tony Robbins, Dean DeGraciosi, Forbes Riley, Les Brown, Dr. Boyce Watkins, George Frazier, all of these incredible people who understand the impact of needing to empower Black folks, right? And so the beauty of it is some of these people who want to empower us, not even Black, but they understand power. Because I tell people, don't always trip about the messenger, pay attention to the message, right? And those of us who are older, we probably heard of Earl Nightingale. Bob Proctor, right? We probably heard of Napoleon Hill and people like that in the so-called self-help personal development industry. And a lot of people, because it says self-help and personal development, they say, oh, I don't need that. That's exactly what you need, that level of thinking, to know how much power you really have if you're accountable for your actions, beginning with your current situation times your thoughts times your beliefs times your activity. So if you want to change your current situation, you know you have to think differently, because whatever your current situation is that you want to change is obviously something lacking in the way you're thinking, or you would already have changed it on that level you want to be on, right? So then you take in consideration, what do you believe about yourself? Do you believe you have the capacity to do whatever you desire to do, because you understand all you have to do is learn something that you may not know now, but you have to learn something that'll allow you to have the ability to do this thing you want to do that's going to get you these results. And the number one thing you need to know how to do, that they start pushing us away from immediately, is you got to understand mathematics. You got to understand numbers. You got to understand every dollar you ever have coming from somewhere, coming from somebody, somehow. So your parents may have told you, be quiet, sit down, you need to be seen and not heard. That's not gonna serve you in a world where you have to be findable and you have to communicate with people in order to get them to appreciate and understand the value that you offer. That's gonna make them go in their pocket, give you their money, or swipe their card so that money goes into your account. So you got to be findable, meaning you got to be comfortable with the anxiety associated with being out here, making yourself create your personal brand. That's the way I'm gonna say it. Whatever you do, create a personal brand associated with it, and create an information product associated that will lead people to wanting to work with you and pay you for your expertise. All right. You know I love talking to y'all. So let me get up out of here and let y'all go. But again, I want to thank y'all for participating. I will be following up with the videos and some information. And if you really want to continue to work with me, hey, reach out. We got some things you could do and some opportunities for you that's already moving. All right. All right. Thank you all. So Maurice, Dr. Sheena, you make sure you tell your husband, make sure you get him up in here too. And y'all, let's all work together, especially as veterans, because I got something special for veterans. All right.
Yeah, he's
All
gonna
right, be
call you.
safe, be well.
All right.
Enjoy the
Thank you.
weekend.
All right.
Thank you again. Good night.
Good night. Have a good one.
Good night.
Good night.